I'll be honest, I didn't expect to wake up to this. You know, some mornings, you get the usual stuff. Birds chirping, the mailman driving by, maybe the sound of a lawnmower if it's Saturday. But when I stepped outside one morning, coffee in hand, I was hit with something else entirely. A massive sun-bleached trailer sitting right in the middle of my front lawn. It looked like it had been dropped there by a construction crew, right? Like maybe someone made a mistake. But nope, no construction crew in sight. No delivery truck. Just a rusted, shabby eyesore that someone clearly thought belonged on my property. I squinted at it through the haze of my early morning fog, still in my pajamas, and realized the worst part: the tag on the side. A cheap plastic one, flapping in the wind. And there it was. The name, Karen, handwritten in bubbly pink marker. Karen, of course. Who else? Now, Karen wasn't just any neighbor. Oh no, Karen was the self-appointed queen of the HOA board, and I use queen loosely because she had all the charm of a drill sergeant with a clipboard. She treated her HOA duties like a divine mission, and I swear, she probably thought the bylaws were written in stone somewhere on top of a mountain. I couldn't remember a single time when Karen didn't have something to say about someone's lawn or their garden gnome collection, or whether their flamingos were properly arranged. She gave out citations like Oprah gave away cars, and the worst part was, she loved it. She loved being the one to hand out fines for the smallest infractions, and she did it with this smug little smile, like she was saving the world, one plastic flamingo at a time. And there it was, the trailer, parked smack dab on my lawn. I couldn't believe it. My brain was working overtime, trying to find some reasonable explanation, but nope, Karen was up to her usual nonsense. I marched over to her house, still holding my coffee like it was some sort of shield, ready to confront her. She was out on her porch, casually watering her fake plants, of course. I mean, you couldn't make this up. Fake plants, real attitude. She barely looked up when I approached, acting like this was just another day in Karen land. I kept my voice low, but there was a tension there, like I was one step away from blowing a fuse. Karen, I said, keeping it civil. You do know this is my property, right? She looked at me with that same tired smirk, rolled her eyes like I was the one causing a scene. Technically, she said, as if she were sharing some life-altering wisdom, the grass line is community adjacent. It's part of the shared visual aesthetic of the neighborhood, and as a board member, I'm entitled to make judgment calls. She just dropped that on me, like it was the most normal thing in the world. I blinked, trying to process it. Visual aesthetic? What does that even mean? I tried to get more clarification, but she wasn't havying it. I asked her for a copy of the rule she was referencing, just to humor her. She waved me off, saying it was a verbal addendum to the charter, a rule that didn't even exist. She literally made it up. I'm not one to just let things slide, so I checked the HOA bylaws. Guess what? Nothing in there about rusty trailers. Nothing about claiming someone's lawn for a visual aesthetic. Just the usual rules about lawn care, like the minimum grass height and a ban on inflatable snowmen after February. But no mention of Karen's junkyard trailer taking up space on my lawn. The next few days were a strange kind of quiet. Karen's trailer became the neighborhood joke. The kids started calling it Karen's Krusty Castle. My dog, Charlie, refused to even go near it, which honestly, I kind of respected. But there was something else gnawing at me. I kept thinking, this can't be good. The longer it sat there, the more it was becoming normalized. So, I had to act fast. I decided to take matters into my own hands. I figured if Karen wanted to play games, I could play harder, smarter, and a whole lot louder. So, I grabbed a Sharpie, a piece of cardboard, and made a sign. It was big, bold, and clear. For sale, slightly used trailer, squatter included. I even added some fine print underneath. No keys, no title, no shame. Free with lawn purchase. And just to really drive the point home, I included a phone number. Not mine, obviously, but a burner line I set up just for this. Within hours, it was all over social media. People started pulling up, slowing down, taking pictures. I saw a group of teenage girls on bikes riding around it, giving it a home tour, like it was some sort of reality show set. My phone was pinging nonstop. Apparently, someone posted it to the town's Facebook group. Then, someone cross-posted it to Reddit in a thread titled Saw HOA Hell's Capes. Saw who knew HOA drama was a thing on Reddit? But apparently it was. And my little stunt was the opening pitch. It didn't take long for the whole thing to go viral. People were making memes, commenting on how this was the petty hill I would die on. Others were suggesting I throw in a free bottle of air freshener with the listing. Even a local real estate blogger wrote a post about it titled "Saw the Pettiest Listing in America, a Masterclass in Neighborhood Warfare." Saw and Karen. Oh, she pretended like she didn't notice, but of course she did. The moment she saw that sign, she marched straight onto my lawn, ripped it out of the ground like it had personally insulted her mother. "This is slander," she screamed, holding the sign above her head like she was some kind of HOA dictator. I just smiled, keeping my voice calm, but with a little bite to it. "Exactly," I said. "So, kindly remove your property from my lawn, or I might start charging rent." Her face went red. You could see the anger bubbling up, but it wasn't going to stop there. She tried to claim I was violating some HOA rule, that I couldn't sell someone else's property. I calmly reminded her that she saw was the board, and the rules didn't apply to her when it came to her own antics. Her response? "I'm reporting you to the board." I reminded her that she saw the board, and if this got out, even her own signature wouldn't serve a vote. That's when she started threatening me, going on about how I was slandering her name and damaging her reputation. But it wasn't just petty anymore. I had gone too far now. People were calling my burner phone left and right. Someone offered to trade me a broken jacuzzi. Someone else asked if the trailer came with a meth lab, or if that was extra. That's when the real breakthrough happened. Greg, from Lot 27, one of the few decent HOA members, called me up. "Look, I didn't vote for the trailer," he said. "Karen told us it was cleared already, but she never submitted the proper application." That was the crack I was waiting for. She'd forged approval. But there was more. Karen had used HOA funds to rent the trailer for her nephew. And her nephew wasn't even allowed to live in the community because of a prior con-VY tie-in. That was it. The moment I'd been waiting for. I gathered everything: photos of the trailer, timestamps, copies of the HOA bylaws, screenshots of Karen's shady dealings, and I presented it all to the HOA board. An emergency meeting was called, and Karen's lies started unraveling. At the meeting, when the board confronted her about the trailer and the forged approvals, Karen didn't even try to hide her frustration. She started rambling about how she was saw the community, as if she were some sort of neighborhood superhero. But it was too late. The board voted to investigate her for misuse of HOA funds and abuse of power. The next few weeks were a whirlwind. Karen tried to fight back, but the neighborhood was starting to turn on her. Her trailer was still there, but now it was just a symbol of everything wrong with the way she had abused her position. Then came the final nail in the coffin. The city inspector came by and found that the trailer was hooked up to Karen's house with an extension cord. It was a fire hazard, a tripping liability. Karen's nephew was VYing there illegally. The trailer was violating zoning laws. It was all starting to fall apart. When Karen realized her time was up, she made one last attempt at a power play. She tried to invoke some old, outdated bylaw that gave her the right to ban people from walking on their own lawns. Yeah, you heard that right. She tried to ban me from walking on my own grass. But the board, with Greg's help, revealed that the bylaw she was referencing had been repealed years ago. It was a blow to Karen's ego, but the final blow came when Greg revealed that Karen had been embezzling HOA funds for years. Payments to fake companies, fake projects, fake expenses. Karen's reign of terror came to a crashing halt. She was banned from the HOA board for life. She was under investigation for fraud. And best of all, she had to repay every cent she'd stolen from the community. By the time everything was over, the neighborhood had changed. The once dreaded HOA meetings were now full of people actually discussing ideas for improv-VYing the community, not just complaining about flamingo placement. Cheryl, who had stepped up to lead the HOA, was making real changes. As for Karen, she disappeared into the shadows, humiliated. But every time I see her walking down the street, picking up trash like a regular person, I just smile. She got what was coming to her. And that's how a rusty trailer and a little petty revenge turned into the best thing that ever happened to our neighborhood. So what do you think? Do you think Karen got what she deserved? Have you ever had an HOA experience like this? Drop a comment below, share your thoughts, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to hear more of these neighborhood drama stories. You don't want to miss what's coming next.